All right. It is my pleasure to have Sean Lane share some more some about AI and how he's tracking things, how it helped him through interviews, as far as actually, well, I'll just let him tell you all about that. Sean Lane, it's all you.
All right. I will share my screen and I've got a bunch of stuff up here, but we'll go into this first. So, yeah, Steve asked me how I use AI, and we've been talking about it a little bit, and we've been talking about AI lately in our classes here. So, basically, what we'll cover here is I had AI make this PowerPoint for me as well, based on what I've been using it for. So, how do I talk to it? And how do I get stuff out of it? The applications tracker, built live, and I'll have live um, examples of these two in the PowerPoint. It doesn't really have that. FlexiSpot spreadsheets, basically how I got an interview there and what I did there. Career highlights deck and key takeaways for your own search. So we already know this. AI put this in just because it wanted to. What is it? AI assistant by Anthropic. It's Claude is what I've been using now. Um, Basically what you tell it earlier in conversations. It can edit documents, build spreadsheets, draft emails. It remembers things from chat to chat, but sometimes you have to remind it. Talk to it in plain English, update my tracker. I've got round two interview. We'll go through that. Claude reads your files, makes the changes, and hands it back, and you download it and save it. Um, and you can upload Word docs, Excel, any of those. So the problem, this is why I built the tracker. I have more than this active, but on the tracker, since I've been using it, this is what I have right now. 17 active applications across different companies, multiple contacts per role, recruiters, hiring managers, internal referrals. They're easy to forget. So who said what you sent, you can miss a follow-up date and lose the opportunity. So every entry includes on every application, company, role, location, pay range, date applied, who I've talked to throughout the process, the actions taken, what I did to stand out, exact document file name sent, just so I know in my computer what I'm using, what uh, resume did I send it, what cover letter did I send, and then I have the status, because I keep it updated all the time, applied, interviewed, rejected, and then what the next steps are. So basically how I do, it's very simple how I keep it organized, but something happens, interview scheduled, status change, new contact made. I tell Claude what happened. So like I got a round two interview with three guys for a panel interview with this company, FlexiSpot. I upload the file and docx into the chat. Claude unpacks it, finds the right entry, makes the change, repacks it. I download it and save it again. So like inside the tracker, I'll show you what it actually looks like, but this is just a example. Here's a few companies that I have, what the status is, interviewing, video submitted, like a video interview, who my contacts are, recruiters, whatnot, all the way down through here. If I have a referral, I post that here. Talent partner, who the HR person is, whatever the case may be, all the information I can possibly put into it to keep back um, organized. And then what actions have I taken? Like with this company, I built a mock product launch tracker and inventory formula workbook. I sent one of them to one of the guys, Rob, and that's what actually landed me the interview in the first place was being able to send something that they were looking for as a mock and let him know that I am capable of doing this. And that's what landed me the interview in the first place. I'm supposed to have a round two, but I've kind of been ghosted by this company, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. And then same thing here. I tailored my resume, cover letter, built competency mapped interview prep doc, which I'll go through. And I have an in-person panel meeting interview tomorrow in Helena. And then I had a one-way interview. I had an internal referral, and I need to follow up. July 10th because the talent person is out till July 7th. And they're on a hiring freeze with Stanford right now on some parts, and the career page is not active right now. So I can't do anything with Stanford until that gets resolved, but it's all in my prep sheet. So here's what it kind of looks like. I have all my applications that I've sent out, what their location is like, remote, on-site, hybrid, whatever the case may be there, status, round two pending, applied, who my key contacts are. So this is if I have my referrals, if they're just people that work there, if they're just contacts, like this guy right here. It's kind of funny. He works for Sitka and Bozeman. I sold him a Traeger in Bozeman and learned that he worked for Sitka and got a hold of him 3 years after I sold him the Traeger. And I've been chatting with him back and forth on jobs. So I keep him in my tracker and email form. And then what the next steps are. Waiting for screen, whatever the case may be, it's all inputted in there. So I can just copy and paste an email I've got from the company into Claude. It updates the tracker for me. Now it even asks me, do you want me to update the tracker? Yes. I download it, save it as the new file, and go from there. Uh, and then what I also do too is I keep my referrals informed, custom documents for every advocate. So like sometimes the problem with referrals is they may refer you, but they don't really know you and they don't know why you'd be good for this, but they're trying to make their quota. They might get a bonus for referring somebody, but I go one step further and let them know, like if the hiring team asks them questions and they can't answer, they can look at my prep sheet that I've sent them and be prepared to answer like what I can do, and then they can talk in confidence with it. So it actually has gotten me more interviews by doing that. I build a custom document for every referral contact and pre-answer the objections they may face. So, like right here, this is for Stanford. It was for an HR role at Stanford. My job scan score for my resume was a 94% match to the job. Why am I strong? Because I've done all of this, but that is all in the sheet so she can talk about it if she gets asked. I don't have a bachelor's degree, but if that's an objection, so why would I apply to it? Because I have 25 years of experience in this, committed, and I'm committed to pursuing immediately any certifications that I may need. And basically what I've done right here. So these are just all talking points for my referral in case they're asked. And then if I have different jobs that they've referred me to, I do that for every single one of them. So they can see all the way through why I would be a good pick for this, what job it is. I even have sent my resume and cover letter that I sent to the job to this person, and they can speak to it that way too. But I
So
have the
Sean,
yeah,
I've
go
got a
ahead.
good question. This is actually amazing. So for your objections, did you come up with your answers, or did AI help you with your answers as well?
AI helped me with my answers, but as we're going through what the qualifications are, AI kind of knows my background by now, and it
Hmm.
came up with some objections of how we're going to gap or bridge the gap. And I told it when I was building these prep sheets out for my referrals to incorporate those into my prep sheet for them. Why I'm bridging this gap? Why is it a stretch role? Why is it this kind of role? How can my experience tailor to this job, even though I don't have the exact qualifications on paper?
Hmm.
So I had AI help me with that.
Awesome. Thank you. And is this an app, or is this like paid
So,
services? Like I'm a little like, where do I find this? Or is this
okay,
something you
so
created?
so I'm using Claude AI.
Right.
We were talking about different AIs last week. I think Matt Church was
Okay.
talking about it too. Uh, I've used ChatGPT, I've used Claude, I've used some other ones. I kind of tend to like Claude better, so I am paying for Claude. But
Hmm.
what I'm doing with Claude is keeping everything organized in one place rather than stretching it out to different AIs. And now I'm just using Claude AI. So that's where all this
Okay.
is coming from.
Thank you so much. This is really helpful.
And like I said, I'll go through the live documents right after these slides here. So for like the FlexiSpot interview, I didn't just apply. I sent a work sample before the interview, something they didn't ask for, but they were wanting. I could tell it from the first phone call that I had with my contact there. So I actually went onto their website, the company that I'm applying to, found their product names, their launch stages and key dates, which was actually mock. This part was mock, but I found their product names on the website. I did a status tracking by stage. So if we're going to launch a new product, was it pre-launch? Is it active? Is it complete? The revenue and forecast data fields, and all this is mock. Don't get confused there. It's just all mock, just so he could see what I could actually do. And then I did an interview study guide tab added with company facts, stage definitions, formula explanations, and I built to mirror it like how I had actually used it on the job as a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet number two was an inventory formula workbook. So I took a inventory class on LinkedIn and I got all the formulas out of the class and I plugged all those into Claude and said, I want a spreadsheet based on this. I want the economic order quantity, the reorder point, safety stock, base stock, critical ratio, all these formulas, and put it into Claude and said, this is what I want on my tracker or inventory formula workbook. So I could actually explain to them in the interview that I am ready for this job and I know what I'm talking about, basically, and had it all built out around their products. I'll show you a example here in a minute, but I had everything built around their products, and all I had to do was take it off of their website, take the inventory formulas off of LinkedIn, put it into Claude, told it what I wanted, and it built the spreadsheet for me.
Sean, will you explain a little bit more about how he started to discount you? He knew you from the past, but didn't know.
Yes.
Will you share that part of the story? It might be a missing part that they don't know.
Okay, so my contact at this particular company was the head of my department at Traeger. I worked for Traeger. I was in the field. He was the guy in the headquarters talking to Costco, talking to Home Depot. He was the actual vice president of sales. He only knew me for a little over 5 years as my job at Traeger. He knew what I did at Traeger. He knew I was a good worker, but he didn't know what I did in my past. So I worked for Coca-Cola for 18 years and launched new products, was in control of inventory, um, hired, fired, onboarding people. Uh, I ran a full cycle at one Coke plant that I worked at. And what he didn't know, what this job was or is they want somebody to be able to launch new products, know exactly what they need to order from China, what they need to have built, so they know how to launch it into their stores and whatnot in the US here. So they need a liaison between the sales team and the China team on how to do that, which is what my 18-year background was. Traeger was actually a step away from what I was doing, a step above, but a step different in a different direction from what I was doing before. He knew nothing of that. So when I had my phone call with him, he asked me about that and I went through my entire background with him. And he said, "Well, you're actually a better fit for this role than I thought." And had me send my resume and a cover letter to him on the weekend. I talked to him on a Friday. So I did that. And then I got to thinking about our phone call and what he was asking about. He was asking if I had the formulas, if I knew how to, what we did in our past to launch new products, how we got the numbers of how many products we needed to order, all that kind of thing. So over the weekend is when I built the first product launch tracker and sent him an email on Monday morning with this attached. I gave him the product launch tracker in an email and I explained to him, I said, I may have underplayed my background. I didn't only launch new products, I also had shelf dates on them. So I had to comply with Coca-Cola standards, so we didn't have out-of-date product on the shelves. I had to comply with Coors standards, which is a 0% out of date. I stepped into a role at Coca-Cola 25 years ago, and we had 20% out of date in the market. It was the first time Coca-Cola had ever audited any of their products, any of their territories, anything. I built a spreadsheet back then when I was just a warehouse worker on how we should rotate our product, how we should order our product. Um, and I went through all that with Rob, and it ended up landing me the sales job at that Coke plant because I did it before they asked me to do it. And 60 days later, Coca-Cola comes back and audits you again. If you're still over 2% out of date in your territory, they'll come back again. Within 60 days, I had the entire territory down to less than 0.5% of out of date, and I kept that ratio for the next 18 years throughout my entire career with Coca-Cola because of what I had done back then. So that was all in my email to him. That's what got me the interview in the first place, sending this and the email explaining my entire background on paper so he could see it. He told me to apply. I got the interview, and I immediately went over to Claude and made this inventory spreadsheet, which I'll show you after I get done with these slides, exactly how it was. And how, I mean, it's everything that we used to use at Coca-Cola and more, but that's what got me supposed to be round two interview. I'm kind of ghosted on that company at the moment, so I don't know if that's going to work out, but I have continued to work on this spreadsheet. If anybody has any questions too, just pop up. But Claude helped me do all of this. Claude AI. I inputted everything I wanted. It spit it out. I put it back into there saying, no, this is wrong. I need this instead of that, until I got to a final mock spreadsheet to have for the interviews. So in my first interview, they knew I had this product launcher. There's two guys, Rob, who I know, and another guy, both vice presidents of sales in the company. They did not know I had this spreadsheet. So in the half-hour interview Zoom call, I asked if they mind if I shared my screen, and I brought this spreadsheet on the screen and showed them and walked them through that. They were extremely impressed, and it was something they didn't ask for, but I went ahead and did it before they did ask for it. Next slide. So this is what it looks like, but I'll actually go through the real one. But I took all of their dimensions off of their website, what they were, what they sell category, and I put it into all these different spreadsheet tabs and how to order it, if it's during a launch, units ordered, actual sold, and the revenue from each product. And I have all the formulas written down on the actual spreadsheet, which it'll make more sense once I show you that. But this is just a screenshot of it. So that's how I used it to get that interview. That's how I use AI. But I also used AI to build a career highlights deck. So instead of a resume, instead of what are the cards that Jeff uses and Tammy has, I know you guys have those. I actually
Just card.
yeah, just card there. Thank you, Jason. I actually built a PowerPoint on me. What's inside? I've got a 25-year timeline at a glance, key wins and metrics, where I worked, what I did, skills snapshot, volunteer work that I've done. So I've been 20 years in youth baseball coaching, volunteer firefighter, and who I am. Montana roots, fly fishing, backcountry hunter, outdoor industry knowledge, and how we built it. I described my background to Claude in a conversation, no resume needed initially, and then Claude drafted a slide-by-slide content based on what I told him. I gave feedback, make the trigger section stronger, or add my coaching years. It rebuilt it, sent it back to me. For some reason, this is the one part that I'm not very sure on. It built it in forest green, tan, and cream to match my brand. I haven't really told it what my brand is, so it came up with that on its own. I don't know where it got that, but you can change the color. And then I downloaded it and opened it in Keynote, and it's ready to share. So now if I am on LinkedIn and before I apply, I make a lot of connections to the people that work at that company, I can send them this spreadsheet or this PowerPoint presentation of who I am, why I think I'd be a good role, why I'd be a good fit, and it starts the conversation into should I actually apply to this job through networking connections before I actually go through rebuilding a resume, doing a cover letter, applying to the job, doing all that. I can actually send this PowerPoint out to anybody, and they can share it along with other people that they know too. So then these are actual examples of how I talk to Claude. So I have a round two panel interview at FlexiSpot scheduled, which they revoked, but still under review. Anyway, it updates in my tracker as round two interview and who it's with. So I can actually copy and paste the emails I get back from a company, put it into Claude, into a chat, and I have all my chats saved as like FlexiSpot, Onyx Maps, Sitka, Stanford, whatever role it is that I'm applying to. And then I can go back into that exact chat and put an email that I've got corresponding to the company and update the tracker accordingly. Building a spreadsheet. So I told it to build the launch tracker in Excel. I gave it all the information that I wanted on the spreadsheet. And then I also gave it all the formulas that I wanted to use, how I wanted to use it, and I wanted them to be, corresponding between each tab. So if you change one tab, the other tab changes. Everybody knows how Excel works, but that's how I told it to do it. And I'm the one that did it. Claude just helped me build it faster. And then interview prep. I have a panel interview with these three people. I looked them up. I gave Claude their title, who they are, their name, and then it helped me come up with star answers for operations, account management, cross-functional collaboration, whatever the case may be. It came up with star questions and answers as a prep, so I can go into the interview more organized and ready. And then email drafting. I also have it draft follow-up emails, thanking them for round one, confirming my interest. I keep it brief, very professional, 2 paragraphs max. So I allow Claude to help me. I sometimes change it. I always check it before I send it, but I have it draft up emails. I have it draft up text messages. If I'm, with a referral or anything like that, if I have their phone number, or actually Gina at FlexiSpot, I have a phone number that I am corresponding with her. She's the HR lady, but I have emailed her as well. But Claude helps me out with all of this. So takeaways, it doesn't do the search for you. It just removes the friction, and the knowledge and the stories and the relationships are all mine. The tracker keeps me very organized. I know exactly where I'm at with all these companies, when I should follow up with them, if I haven't heard anything back, anything like that. It's just one file and it has every application that I'm currently working on. I have more than 17 applications out there. I probably have close to 1,000 since January. But anyway, and then I have spreadsheets as proof of capability, like sending the mock work sample to FlexiSpot to get the interview. And then I built another one directly right after that to have in the interview, which was exactly what they're looking for, but they didn't ask me for it. I did the work before they asked for it. Everything is tailored, nothing is generic. Every resume, cover letter, email is built around the specific company, the role, and the person that I'm talking to. And like I said, what used to take hours, Claude helps me with the speed part of it. So I can apply to multiple companies per day. Research, Claude helps me with the research a little bit, helps me tailor the resume, helps me build all these different things that they're wanting before they're actually asking me for it. So that's how I use Claude, but I'll actually show you the spreadsheet, which I believe is right here. So this is the spreadsheet. Let me go to the cover. So I actually put my cover, my email, my LinkedIn, what date I did it, and then what it contains. So this is just kind of a cover letter for the spreadsheet. For the job that I'm applying for, these are the inventory formulas that I need to know how to use and what it calculates, plain English, and then the example for the specific company and what inputs you need to put in and what outputs come out of that. And then I have key terms and all that kind of stuff. This is all on the spreadsheet. And then like in the formulas, you have the first formula is the economic order quantity. So how much do you need to order to not have too much back stock, to not run out? This is the formula for that. So I can change anything in blue, and then it changes my outputs down here. Reorder point, same thing. Base stock, same thing. And then I have their actual product catalog that's on their website. I had their retails on there, and I kind of fudged their unit cost. I didn't know what that was, but I just made a mock. But what's nice is I also have their height range, their width range, and I explained this in the interview because I've done a lot of Coca-Cola resets versus, anybody in sales or in retail knows product dimensions. You need to know those. So if you're going into a set, how many of these products can you fit on one shelf with everything else that you're going to put on that shelf? So I've got all that in there, the warranty. I put as much detail as I could into the spreadsheet. And then I have their ergonomic chairs, same thing. And then their warehouses. Where are their warehouses? These are the warehouses in the United States. These are their square footage, so I know how much product can actually be put into each warehouse, how much their warehouse is full right now, where they're at located wise, key retail accounts, who they're going to service. So Costco, Home Depot, Walmart, whatever the case may be. This is all mock from what I was doing. And then notes about each one. This one's the largest one in South California. So then down here, how many of these products are in this warehouse, this warehouse, this warehouse, whatever the case may be. So if we need to pull from one warehouse to another, we can. We know what is where. And I mean, it's just inventory. And then they also wanted to know about e-commerce because they want more e-commerce stuff, which I did not have in my initial interview, but I added it after my initial interview and let them know that I added it. So because their whole thing is as little inventory as possible, but not running out like any company. And how do you gauge that? How do you gauge it? So this is the spreadsheet that helps do that. And I built that before my interview with the help of Claude. So that's that. And then a live example of like inventory prep. So these are star questions and answers directly related to the role that I'm going to interview for. And I had Claude come up with a lot of this, but it knows a lot of my background by now. So it was able to come up with answers directly corresponding to each question. I have changed a lot of these questions before I actually study with it, but it came up with great examples due to our chat history on what a great star answer would be to what interests you most about this position. Boom, it has it right there. So it also gives me like quick reminders, look directly at the camera lens, speak slowly. This is just all prep work, but I didn't have to sit there and make this whole sheet. I inputted what I needed to into Claude. This is what it spit out. I've changed it back and forth with Claude. And then as far as what I send to my referrals. So candidate talking points. So if they actually get asked about me as a referral, it has all my information right here, and it's usually a 1 to 2 page sheet per role of why I'm a strong candidate. If somebody raises these questions, like a gap question, why doesn't he have a bachelor's degree? Well, he has an associate of arts and he has 25 years of direct relevant experience. What makes Sean different? He's a natural mentor, coach, because I mean, not all these things can be on your resume all at once. I mean, as you guys all well know, you can't put everything you've done into a resume, but I can put it into my referral so then they can speak about it with confidence. And then I think that was all I had. Anybody have any questions or want me to go through anything more?
Sean, I think the your presentation was great. Thank you for sharing, first of all. I do have a question, which I think was brilliant. I didn't think of it before, but the whole referral talking point was very new to me. And in a way, as I looked at it, I thought, is that like a form of cheating because you're kind of giving them some insight into yourself? But it makes a lot of sense because when you talk to your coworkers, sometimes time goes on, people forget how your working style was, and I think this is just a great segue to just kind of help them through what to say and some of the great talking points to help your employer, right?
Right.
How do
Well, and
you approach? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say it's not cheating,
Yeah,
for one. For two,
good.
most of that, like I said, it's not on your resume. I mean, how do you put in the volunteer work that you've done, the different roles that you've had? I mean, sometimes you don't put in your job that was 15 years ago, but yet you're still using those experiences in your next role. So now I can put those experiences, if they directly correlate with this job, I can put those into this prep sheet for my referral
Mhm.
so they can talk about it.
That makes a lot of sense. I wonder though, like, how do you approach your referrals when you give them those talking points? Do you say, "Hey, I have this, but you're welcome to add in anything else that, comes to mind in terms of like the way we worked and
So what I
etc."
do is I prep an email with the use of Claude,
Hmm.
uh, based on my relationship with that referral. Most of these referrals that I have are people that I do know,
Okay.
and I will prep an email saying, "Hey, thank you so much for the referral. It actually got me an interview, if it did or if it didn't. But if they come back and ask you about my background or anything like that, I've just included a talking points for you. If you want to look at it, if you don't want to look at it, that's fine. If you want to just go by what you know about me, that's awesome. But these are the talking points that may not be on my resume, and I word my email that way. So it
Hmm.
doesn't seem like I'm pushy to the referral, but it's it's here if you want to talk about it if you get asked.
Got it. Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, who else?
I'll go. Sean, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I applaud you.
Thank you.
Um, I don't really have any questions. I just thought that your presentation was very nice, and um, I'll go through the notes when Steve sends them out and try to copy what you've done. I think it's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and I have a quick question. So, because this was, more of a lecture, would you be open to like consulting with us on an individual basis to help us actually do this, more like a working workshop, for like an hour? Like, I don't know if you're open to doing that. You said you're kind of a coach. So, because
Absolutely.
this is a great presentation, but I'm struggling a little bit on the tactical aspect of it and how I would create this.
Absolutely. Yep. I can put my email into the chat and anybody can email me at any time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think one other thing that can, and Sean's probably already doing this, besides the company he's focusing on, and I always talk about this, who else do they know based on that little sheet that, Christina, you just asked about on that sheet? Based on the sheet, is there anybody else that I should be looking at in addition to your company? If, I mean, because can it go radio silent or, and does radio silent mean the game's over? It doesn't. But who else do they know? I think everybody knows a ton of people, and we always got to keep on remembering it's not just where they work, not just where they work.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
Okay. Jason, you're going first? Okay.
okay. Yeah, the main thing is, Steve's going to send out the recording, but can you send him your PowerPoint that you
The
just made?
PowerPoint, he
Yeah.
already did. He did before I even got to work, he did. Well,
Well,
I
it
was here.
seems like
Yeah,
it seems
he
like
did.
he's very proactive, so that's not surprising. But yeah, yeah, because that it just had a whole lot of ideas about how to just more general ideas about how to use the AI than I would have thought of. I mean, that
Yeah,
was very interesting.
Steve's got it. I sent it to him last week, and then I updated it because I got to realize that I'm actually using AI for I didn't have the like interview prep sheet in there. I didn't have the referral prep sheet in there. So I added those to the PowerPoint and sent it to him this morning with all the updated stuff. So he's got it. He can send it out to anybody. Doesn't matter to me. If it can help anybody land a job, awesome.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Jason. And I think, one of the thing if someone's already vetted the will, can we go in and change our parameters so that we've done it? I mean, Jeff's here. Jeff helped us with some of the AI. We had Maria Bates, and so we've had a lot of people helping us in that way. And I mean, and we got to do a funny because he's going to be on next. I don't know if anybody looked in the chat. It's always hard for me to do the screen, but Kevin put a chat in there that was pretty funny. If not, I probably should share that in a minute. But he's next. I think he was going to say something.
yeah, Sean, hey, thanks. Really great. Also, not thank you because I feel super lazy now. Maybe other people picked up on that one too. So the thing that really stuck out for me is obviously the great use of AI, but and Jason kind of alluded to this too, was just the forethought to like stand out, right? Like all the advanced thinking you did independent of the AI was really kind of one of the things I'm going to take away. And the other thing, not to get too off of the topic because we're talking AI here, but I just got access to JobScan last week. I'm testing resumes. I'm sending jobs I don't really care about right now. But I was just curious. I'm having a totally different experience with the JobScan versus AI. And I was just curious for any of these resumes that you're sending out, are you using JobScan at all? Are you using AI, a mix of it? Like, I just want to know where that fits in with what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I do use JobScan a lot. When I was using ChatGPT, I was using JobScan every single resume and changing it until I got a great score and then sending it in. Now, that's why I switched to Claude to try it out for a little while. And when I put the description of the job in, my most recent resume into Claude, it comes up with a way better resume, worded correctly. I have to change a few things, maybe some formatting things, which is fine, which is why in previous meetings I've asked about DocX and how to get into that and stuff like that. But then I will take that, put it into JobScan real quick, and I am actually scoring way higher just using Claude. One run through it with my current resume and the job description, I'm scoring way higher. So I have kind of gotten away from just relying on ChatGPT and JobScan. And I used to go back and forth 10 times until I got my resume exactly where I wanted it for the job using ChatGPT. Claude gets it way closer the first time or second time, and then I'm good. But I do use JobScan, yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, you use Claude first to sync it to the job resume. You get that resume, and then that's what you run through JobScan.
Correct. I do not
Got it.
just do, I have a master resume
Right, right,
with
right.
everything, and I don't just put that into JobScan and then the description. I put it into Claude with the job description, both side by side,
Yeah.
run it through there, change the resume. Then I look at the formatting. I change the formatting because sometimes it has it a little weird or it adds a color and an underline or something like that. And I have prompted it to make it ATS friendly, and it actually kicks back. This is ATS friendly. The underline has nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, no, I don't want them there. So I run that through JobScan, and I've only had to run it through maybe once or twice, and I'm scoring way over 70%. Most of them now are at like 90 to 100% matches, and it's not lying about anything. So,
Cool. Super helpful. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
yep.
And Kevin, while you're here, Sean, when we had a person say goodbye, he's one who said, I really like ChatGPT, but it was always so kind. Oh, you're doing so good, Kevin. You're doing so good, Sean. And then Sean actually said, should I apply for this? Sean, tell him what Claude say. Claude's really direct, isn't it?
Claude does not lie. It'll tell you, no, this is not something you should apply to. But I will say it did change its tune a little bit once I went through and did a master reset of my resume, and I wrote down everything I've ever done in all three of my jobs that I've had in my adult career. And I've got that master resume now. So it's pretty big. It's not big, but it has a lot of different points for every job. Now, when I upload a job, it said, well, this is a little bit of a stretch, but if you want to bridge the gap here or there, we can do that in the cover letter and tell the company why you would be a good fit. But it also does still tell me, do not apply to this. Skip this one. I had a referral and I didn't put it into here. She would send me a numbers or Excel spreadsheet of 3,000 jobs that her company is currently hiring for. And she was giving me an internal referral for any job that I would apply to. I would put the spreadsheet into Claude and say, based on my resume, what jobs in here, because I can't look through 3,000 jobs on one company's website. And some of these weren't even on their website because I'm getting the internal referral. And it would come up with 4 or 5 that I could apply to, but 3 of them were kind of a stretch. And it would tell me that I would not apply to these 3, but if you really want to, we can. These 2, we can. We'll just have to do a little reset on your resume here or there. But it would cycle through the 3,000 jobs for me, come up with the 4 or 5 that are possible, and then the 2 that we should really apply to.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Who
I have
else?
a question,
Okay.
if
You
I
gonna show
must.
your picture, Larry? You're gonna be in the off screen.
Off screen.
Okay. All right.
Um, how do we know which prompts to use to get there? Because I am very new to AI and the subtle nuances that are needed for props I don't get. So
Okay.
if you would be able to tell me that, that'd be helpful.
Yes,
And
actually, oh, go
as
ahead.
something else separate, I was on a job interview and I told them that I had 45 years of quality experience, and the look on their faces, I knew that was gone. So Steve said, you don't have to actually tell them that. So
Right.
anyway,
So for Larry, for you, for just getting into AI, Jeff Bodley actually did an AI prompting um, meeting like this, where that's where I mean, I was using AI before prompting. I kind of knew a little bit just because I'm not afraid to do it. But Jeff Bodley's presentation is really good. And I actually went back and rewatched that. And along with the other presenters throughout the weeks that we've had here, I've taken little bits and pieces from them. But when I prompt my AI at the very beginning, I'll put a job description in and I'll upload my master resume to the AI itself, to one chat. So like I'm going to apply for Sitka clothing. I label my AI chat Sitka clothing, put in the job description, put in my master resume, and then what I type in there is this is how I prompt it. I want you to look at this as a hiring manager. I also want you to look at this as a career coach. I also want you to look at this as an ATS system and let me know whether this is a role I should apply to and how we should change my resume to match it. And it'll come out with anything you want there. It'll come out exactly like that. It'll prompt it. That's your prompting. It'll tell you, it'll come out with your resume. If it tells you it's a good match, it'll talk to you like a hiring manager. So, well, where this role is a stretch is this section right here. Do you have any, it'll ask you, do you have any experience in this? Because it's not on your master resume. So you can add experience to it if you have it. And it won't lie about anything if you don't let it lie. Tell it, use this. Don't overextend what my experience is, but it'll ask you if you have more experience to know whether you should apply to it or not. But the if Steve can send you the YouTube where I think Jeff's on here, but Jeff Bodley did one and his AI prompting was really good. It's a YouTube video that you could watch that will help you with that for sure. And then as far as your 45 years of experience being too much for some of these places, you can put that into AI. Say you have an interview. Let your AI know that you have the interview. You have 45 years of experience, but you don't want to come off as being overqualified for the job, or I don't want to say this the wrong way, too old for the job. Let AI know all that, and it'll actually prep you with answers related to those questions that may come up so you can speak to those points and don't mention your 45 years of experience, if that makes sense. It'll tell you how to navigate it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a whole lot. So how do you get it to do your spreadsheet then?
So I told my AI that I want to build an inventory, a new product inventory tracker in a spreadsheet form, and I want to have formulas that go across tabs. So if I change a number in one tab, it corresponds to the next tab, so on and so forth. I prompted it that I want a spreadsheet. I want it due to or to make it for inventory. And then I took a screenshot of the company's website with their products, put it in there, and had it start to build it. And then I also let it know what I wanted. I've been in inventory and retail for 25 plus years. That is kind of my background. So I told it that I wanted it to have the lowest number of inventory, but not run out of stock. And then when I took my inventory class on LinkedIn and got a certificate for it, I actually had a worksheet come out of that certification, and it gave me all the formulas for how people calculate inventory. So I took that workbook, put it into my AI as well, and then it came out with all of that, which is right here.
I do see Jeff's hand raised and I see Jason's hand raised. I will call on you guys in a minute.
So what I did was these are the actual, if you can see my screen, these are the actual economic order quantity calculators.
Nope,
So,
you're not screen sharing.
oh, I got to actually hit share. There we go. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the actual economic order quantity calculator. and this is how it's set up. You need the annual demand, units per year, order setup cost, item cost, inventory holding rate. So how much annual cost it takes to hold one unit. Anyway, these are the actual formulas that came out of the LinkedIn certificate that I took. So I put those into Claude and said, make me a spreadsheet with these formulas. That makes sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
And Larry, for many people, we've been using AI for a bit. Maybe not at the level it's capable of, but I think part of this is getting better at it. So next up is Jeff. Jeff had his hand raised.
Thanks, Steve. I was just going to say thanks for that. ChatGPT will do the same thing that Sean's presented with that. I'm switching over a little bit more to Claude, but any of the AI platforms will do it. And going to Larry's question on that too, front load your AI with the stuff that you want. The interview, it was an informational interview that I had last week for platform and accounting. I took the job description before I even did the interview, and it generated the star questions. And the guy's like, why do you want a, going back to Larry's thing, why do you want an entry level when you have like Sean, the 25 years experience in retail and product inventory and stuff like that, and to Larry's 45. The way I'd set it up, Ed had already answered the question of the hiring manager. He's like, we already know you've got the experience, you want to work from the ground up and learn the company. Let your AI basically explain it for you. Don't feed everything in there. That don't let it do everything for you. Check it. But the hiring manager is like, you've done all the work for me. He's like, you've already explained your whys, your hows, and why this company is interesting for you because of just what Sean presented today. It's throwing it in there, giving them a little tidbit of what you can do with his tracker and his Excel. But be for Larry and those that aren't comfortable with AI, put more into it, knowing what you want on the backside. I think that's the big thing. Know what you want the outcome to be and throw it a spreadsheet, see what it spits out. Throw it a PowerPoint, something you've created and see if it can make it better. And just kind of throw in something that you might not have done with the star. Because like when I jumped into AI for the certification, it scared the dickens out of me. Still does. Um, and but it's it's a small steps, it's a simple steps of prompting. And as you do it, you'll get better prompting and doing it. And I'm like Maria, Sean, I'm here to help anybody with that and review any of that if you guys need that.
Thanks, Jeff. I also want to say this weekend, my wife is teaching a class at her church, and I thought it'd be nice to have a handout. That's probably not very common for them, but I was trying to do that because that would be my style. She didn't ask for it, but I thought, okay, she's sitting there giving her little talk and telling me it to me. And guess what? For some reason, I can't get my chat GPT on my laptop to open up. It's like it worked on my phone, but I didn't want it on my phone. I want it on my laptop where I could play with it. So guess what? For the first time, I used Claude, and Claude did a phenomenal job. And Claude didn't know me, but I fed it what it needed. So, yeah. And I think, Larry, one more thing. You could tell your AI, whichever one you're using, I'm brand new to this. Here's the things I want to know. Give it everything you want to know. It said, teach me how to ask you questions. Tammy, I see you're up there, but I actually think Jason's next and then you. Jason, do you still have your hand? You don't have your hand up because I took it away. But Jason, you had a question or a thought.
Well, now I don't have a question since you took my hand away. But yes, I do. How much detail are you passing to Claude when you're describing, make me a spreadsheet? I mean, are you telling it how many columns, what color codes, or any of that kind of stuff?
So no, I'm not doing any of the color codes or the amount of columns. Basically, what I told it what I wanted was when launching a new product, what are the details that matter to me as the guy looking at the spreadsheet? What do I want to see on the spreadsheet? And I wanted to see the lead. Well, if I go into, let me just pull it. That was the second. Let me pull up my actual, the other one, the first one. Um, when I first got into the spreadsheet, I was showing you guys the second one, but the first one, the product launch tracker, I'll share my screen and I'll tell you exactly what I told Claude. So as far as what I wanted to see on this spreadsheet was I wanted a new product launcher by chain and I wanted a status guide. Those are the three first things that I put on there. That's what I told it I wanted. So then it came up with a uh, product launcher by product name, SKU. I took all this information off the website, so it just automatically put this stuff in. But what I also told it was I wanted a history of like products because if this is a brand new product that we're launching, we don't know what it's going to do sales wise. So that's why it came up with this column here. I actually had this added later, a historical data of like product with a like price. How did it do in A level stores, B level stores, and C level stores? Right here. These are all things that I added in from my past of what I knew I wanted to see on a spreadsheet so I could get the most accurate product launch that I could. So that's why all this historical data is in there. But the first three things, like this spreadsheet only has a product launch tracker, by chain, and a status guide. That was the first thing I ever sent to Rob, and that was the spreadsheet that got me the interview. So then it's very basic. Um, I just told it I wanted to launch new products and I wanted a status guide of where we are, pre-launch concept planning, and buyer status. Do we have it anchored to uh, X amount of stores? How many are confirmed? Whatever the case may be there. I want the target dates of when we want it launched and what's the next action. So as I talked to my AI about building the spreadsheet, this is not the first thing that came out. This was probably the fourth or fifth time of prompting it what I wanted. This is what came out. What's the priority? When's the launch window? Price point. And like I said, this is what I added later was an actual historical data of like products. So
But
what
you're not saying, oh, and this is Excel, just to verify.
I'm on Mac, so this is numbers, but yeah.
But I noticed something in there that said .xlsx as a file extension when you were doing your presentation.
Oh, on
Um,
the actual PowerPoint part?
right, I saw XLS in here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but that I mean, but you're not saying, show me a column with MSRP, show me a column with projected sales or any of that kind of detail. He
Uh,
just he just knows because this is a supply chain inventory process that this
right.
is the kind of stuff you'd want to do.
Right. Yeah, because I told it what the job that I was applying to and what they wanted. It's a new product launcher. I need yeah, I didn't tell it to put in manufacturers, retail, or anything like that, but
Right.
I did tell it I want to know what the revenue would be if we sold X amount. I do know I told it a few of those things, quite a few of those things actually. But I didn't say, make me a column with MSRP, make me a column with this, make me a column with this. I told it a generic what I wanted to see in the end, and it came up with that.
Is overperforming. Okay, yeah, that's just quite impressive.
But I
Um,
did tell it all the information that would be relevant to my job in this position. And that's what it came up with.
right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Next up is Tammy has her hand up.
You're on mute, Tammy.
Um, I love the oral presentation, but I'm more of a visual. Is there any way Steve, Jeff, and Sean could do like here's what it looks like, but here's how I did it, and we can actually visually see the
Mhm.
process versus just orally hearing it?
Yeah, I can actually, if I was going to do this for this presentation, but I could I could make a video and send it to Steve on what my prompting looked like at the very beginning of that inventory spreadsheet or anything like that, so you can see what I put into Claude and what it kicked back. I can make a video of that if that helps.
Okay, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Kevin.
Hey, Sean, just quickly to your point where you were talking about using Claude before and then JobScan. So I've been messing around with JobScan a little bit while you were talking. Had a resume, which was just my base resume. So it wasn't catered to a particular job. Loaded that into JobScan and that came up at like 44 or something like that. Quick, ran it through Claude, quick and dirty, put it back in JobScan, and it was already up to like 64. So yeah, the difference is measurable. So thanks for that tip.
Yep. And then one more tip on that. For Claude, and I did this for ChatGPT too, you can copy and paste the entire job scan and put the copy and paste into Claude. Everything it's missing, everything it's not seeing, and then kick your resume back out again.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Kevin, you did get job scan. I worked hard to get that for you,
I
buddy.
did. Thank you. Yeah, I got it Thursday. I messed around with it Friday. I sent a resume out this morning. And like I said, I'm just kind of messing around with it. These aren't die-hard jobs, but just trying to figure it out and just seeing how the number goes up or down based on what you're editing. Probably don't want to take the class off track, but probably discussion for a later time.
Okay.
Uh, I have a quick question on the job tracker spreadsheet that you shared, Sean. It sounds like every time you ask Claude to update it with the latest, you download that spreadsheet again.
Yeah.
And so what is your process after you download it? Do you print it out? Do you also add those dates in your calendar? Like, is there anything that you do with it with the latest and greatest?
So I just save it as a new file. So I have a file on my computer that says tracker. And then every time I save it as a new file in there. So then I can go in and get my latest one and go into it. And I do put it into my calendar, Apple Calendar. I use Apple. So I put it into my Apple Calendar, like when my interview is and stuff like that. I add that manually because I don't want AI to have access to my calendar or anything like that. But the tracker, I just save it as a new file every single time. So I can actually go back 10 trackers ago, look at where I was, and now look at where I am now. They're all saved on my computer.
That's cool. Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. I was trying to answer Larry's question, but I will answer the question for other people as well. I'm just going to quickly go around who has what. So Job Scan is something that's available through us as of a new site that we have, and it was nice that Matt's bounced off, but Matt Church shared how he's using it last week. And so JobScan is a premium issue. Prior to we having it is in our portal. It was one that I'd always send people to just to see how you scored. So Larry, you don't have it. It's a paid premium thing, but you can get 10 free scan just to try it. Everybody should at least see what their score is. So Sean has it, Tiffany has it. Christine, I don't know if she has it yet. She might. Kevin has it. Jeff doesn't have it. Let's see. Tammy has it. I don't know if Tammy's logged in. Tommy has it. Elizabeth will have it. She doesn't have it yet. Some of you don't have it. But in an older line on portal we had, it did not have that in there, but I always took people to, because it was the one thing to tell you how you scored. It was before we had AI. And so I think it helps. And I think everybody here, except for maybe Elizabeth and maybe Christine, that has it. I sent you an individual email with a how to use it. And I'm going to start doing that on other things, because I think Dun and Bradstreet's very helpful as well. I think if you're not using Dun and Bradstreet as a job seeker, there's a couple really cool things in there. But yeah, but don't want to take us, like, thanks Kevin for keeping me on task. I don't want to take us off course there. But anything else from what Sean's sharing? Because Sean, thank you. Yeah, this is really, really helpful. Anybody else? Yes, big round of applause, Tammy. Yes, thank you. Okay. All right. Any other questions before I end this recording? No? Okay. Again, this is Sean Lane sharing how to use AI, and very in depth. I will be sending out the slides that go with this.
Thank you so much.
And we're not done yet, but we're ending the recording when I figure that out.